Hello guys and welcome to what to call this? I don't know. Civilization Runescape Edition. What we have here are 57 nations on the map. It is very crowded and things are going to get very crazy. The purpose of this game is to put in as many civs as we can on a map of Gielinor and have them duke it out for supremacy. There is no time limit to this game. It is domination only, so they can only win by conquering each other. I don't expect us to go to the end of the game, but I kind of want to see how far we can get until we can sort of call a winner, you know, who's dominated the most. So I have all of the base civilizations in the game, as well as a whole bunch of modded civs as well. As well as a couple Easter egg surprises. There's a ton of really cool historical modded civs in here, as well as we can see here, some Runescape civilizations. This is the Gothixian city of... I wonder why they chose that one as a Gothixian city there. But Ardoin. There's a whole bunch of pronunciations for that city. I'm not going to go through them all. There's we have Senistan for the Zerosians down here. There's a couple others. Yeah, but I'm super interested to see how this plays out, where we go. There's a couple nations already that I want to call out are probably going to do really well. Poland, right here, can into space for fucking real because they have an excellent spot. A couple things here. One, surrounded on 3 sides by a river. Really good. One of those sides is a single pathway, a single narrow pathway, so it is going to be really hard for any of the nations to the west to attack Warsaw, because they're just going to get all the penalties. It's going to suck. One guy can attack at a time over a river. It's still hard to attack them from the other side, so they're well defended. And they kind of have a good amount of breathing room between them. Some nations don't have that kind of luxury, don't have that much breathing room. Like right here, northern Asgarnia, I can already tell it's going to be a bloodbath. And this is Solomon's Temple, or Solomon's Mines rather, right in the middle here. So this is a bonus to whoever claims it. So this is not going to end well for 3 out of 4 of these civs, very likely. I'm going to estimate here. So as you can probably tell, I'm just burning through the turns here. We're not going to want to hang around on any turn for too long. We're going to keep the game moving here, and I want this to sort of spread out as much as it can. Mauritania here seems to have a good 5-nation spread. We have Great Britain, actually, which I guess, accurate to history, is going to have an island to itself. That'll be nice for them. I guess they really could have used being on the port here, being on the coast, but you don't get what you want all the time, Britain. Unless you're Tom, then you should get what you want all the time. But luckily, he isn't running this game. I really like what we got going on here in the desert, because we have a number of civs along the major river here. I guess the Eid. And then we have a number of coastal civs as well. So the desert should be a really interesting mix of like alliances and rivalries. I'm really interested to see who comes out on top. And it's a hard place to live too, so this is going to be a really hard fought area. We have our first pantheon founded by Ethiopia. Never mind any alerts I get. I am not in the game. I am just an observer. I might get alerts still, because that's how it works when you want to record a game of Civ 5. Just in case you're curious, I am this little submarine surrounded by mountains, just so I can stay in the game and watch, but not be involved. And if you're curious, I do not have any mods to the actual gameplay of Civilization. It is just civs and my ability to sort of edit and observe. So I didn't change like the technology or anything, so they aren't gonna stop in the medieval age or anything. They are going to continue into the future, so we are going to see, you know, nuclear war over Gielinor at some point, which will be really cool. One thing I want to point out, this whole center part of the map is a really big divide. Oh, so this is cool. We can see who is kind of leading right now. Attila, Suleiman, Enrico, and Salisi. This is the Huns, the Ottomans, Florence, I believe. I have to double check that. And Ethiopia, but they seem to be leading in technology right now. That's not going to tell us too much yet, because things can definitely change real fast. But I just wanted to mention, this whole center part of Gielinor here is a huge geographical barrier. It's not easy for anyone to get across this. There's a few passes into the north, and this is a very inhospitable area. I would highly doubt we're going to see this area colonized anytime soon. South of that, we barely have any sort of way to traverse this land. We have a single pathway into Troll area, and it just goes into the southern area. You can't get into Releka from the Troll country here. And then besides that, there's only the pass through the White Wolf Mountain, and it's a very thin S-shaped pass here. It's not easy to get an army through here. And even if you do, you end up smack dab on, you know, some civilization. So it is not going to be very easy for anyone to get past here. There's basically two land paths. You can go through the northern wastes, through these choke points here, or you can go over White Wolf. Those are the ways any land army is going to get across that. So I think that's going to be an important barrier in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of the Asgardian civilizations duke it out for supremacy. I think we're going to see a little contest for the south here. The River Lum is really dividing up Mistlin here, so I don't think we're going to see Mistlin unified in the way we know it on actual RuneScape. It's going to be sort of chopped up into east and west here. So East Mistlin actually I think is going to be quite a little battle. Four-way catastrophe of sorts. Catastrophe for them, entertainment for us. Okay, so Poland can into space, absolutely. They got their second city down, that's big. Rome's got their second city down, so we're starting to see those come around. That's an important thing to keep track of, and you can kind of follow along on the screen here at things I might miss on the little mini-map. But those groups that are going to get their second cities down earliest, those cities are going to grow the most. And that's going to be a big part of the game. So I'll show you here one example of a city that might lag behind, St. Petersburg. They're kind of screwed in terms of their location because they don't have a lot of grassland. It's just tundra, which is, I guess, accurate. This is one of the modded civs. It's not standard Russia. This is, I believe, the Russia of one of the later emperors, Alexander the First. I knew it was one of the Alexanders. So that'll be interesting. Here we have the Bandosians. We found them tucked away in the wilderness. You know, accurate. The wilderness is going to be interesting because we have a number of civs here. A little bit spread out though, so they're going to be able to get up 1, 2, maybe 3 cities before they really have to expand. We're getting our first religions here. England has founded the first religion with Protestantism. Ooh, that's cool. We'll have to find them. But yeah, so the wilderness is it's gonna be a lot of wars between, I think, fairly strong nations because they have a lot of breathing space around them. That said, Maya definitely got the short end of the stick here, being in the middle of all of this. So they're going to have to play a really strong game in terms of alliances. They're going to need definitely to be allied to at least 2 of these 4 people at a time to really ensure their survival. At no point should they really be at war with more than 2. Ideally, they should be at war with more than 1 of these guys at a time, but if the Maya are going to get through this, they're going to have to play this real smart, and I don't bet money on Civ 5 AI being very smart. And I also want to clarify, I don't have any mods to the AI of the game, or patches in terms of community patches or anything like that, which I would play if I was playing, but I'm not going to be playing, so I don't care how the AI responds to itself, you know, how smart are they going to be. This is interesting here, the Kandar Mountains is not a forgiving area, as you can see. We've got some warriors exploring the region, but I don't think they really should be. Spain, and I guess that's the only place they can go, actually. So it makes sense for them to go. This is interesting, too, because you can get through this mountain pass, but it only leads into the southern Elflands. The northern Elflands are completely isolated by the mountains. You have to cross the water to get there. So, actually, this is going to be a great fight. This is going to be a very fun fight. We're going to see an isolated sort of one-on-one. I'm going to quickly take a look. We have Joseph II of Austria, and this is a modded civ, so this one may not be working properly, versus standard AI, or standard civ, I suppose, Germany. So we're going to see a beautiful Austria versus Germany 1v1 for control of northern Elflands. For now, until we get some boats in the game, then they're definitely going to get annoyed by the southern guys. This should be an interesting 1v1 in a way as well, because they're also very isolated. I mean, Egypt's close by, but completely blocked off by mountains. Oh, we got somebody entering the classical era. That's good. We've got the Chinese, ever present. They've settled the second city along... no. I guess they settled the second city along the river, which is good for them because they have the coastal and the river now. But I think this river is going to be hotly contested. Yeah, we got some more settlers shooting about. Japan, I honestly have a feeling they're going to do real well out here because they have a clear shot to Amsterdam. And with these two civs, the way I always think about it is Amsterdam likes to play tall, or tends to play tall, and does a really good job playing tall as that kind of nation. But Kyoto's very good at conquest, and they have just open territory between them and Amsterdam. So kind of what I'm going to expect to see here is that Amsterdam's going to get nice and big, and then Japan's going to munch it up. What could rain on that parade is the Prussians over here in Königsberg. If they get involved in that kind of conflict, they are in a great position to attack, but also defend, because they can launch assaults into these nice open desert plains, and if they get attacked, you have to push through these hills and across the river to retaliate. So that's going to be an issue for whoever wants to attack Prussia. They're much easier to attack from the north, but even then they still have a few mountains, or hills at least, and forests to protect them. So they're in a nice little spot there. They are tucked away real nice. Got the Iscarnian civs moving along. Barcelona's getting up a nice little army here. We can see a couple of... This is a great comparison to make real quick, because we can see Senesin has spent these first turns getting up some workers and building some tile improvements, and I'm going to probably assume some buildings here. But the Spanish spent that time building up an army. How that benefits really depends on how early Spain gets to use the army, because when you invest in an army in Civ 5, really what you're investing in is the idea that at a future point you're going to use that army to take some cities. So, you know, how quickly you take cities, how often you take cities really determines how much of an investment you really get out of your military. But there's also a second benefit to having a military, and that is that enemy AI do understand to a point, to a degree, how powerful your military is. And if you have a powerful military, it will discourage them from trying to attack you. So what we could assume here is that Barcelona is much less likely to be attacked by an outside power than Senistan is. If, you know, I had a nice big army walking through the area and I had to see both of these cities, I'd probably want to attack Senistan because it's a much easier nation to attack. I don't see any army, and just some builders, I mean, that's better for me. I'd get to take these builders, pre-made tile improvements, and a city, rather than have to fight through all of these guys. So it's a risk you're taking, Zaros. Not playing, you know, quite historical here. If we want to talk anti-historical, we got the expansionist Gothixians selling their second city. They will conquer all. You know, Guthix was a very aggressive man, as we all know. He loved to conquer the world. That was his dream. Quite frankly, can we just stop and say Gielinor is real fucking lucky Guthix was not a conquering guy? Because considering the fact that he was able to remove all the gods from a planet in one move, when it took them, you know, thousands of years just to push them around on land to each other, we were real lucky, because he would not have had any trouble doing that. He would still be in charge, like right now. Okay, so we got another city down in Asgarnia. We got Akkad. I'm kind of interested to see if anyone will take, you know, the Falador province. I doubt it. Would be cool if they did. I doubt it. We've got Karamja having some fun over here. Look at the Danes. Already settled 3 cities here. And in very strategic positions. They are really in a position to take a lot of territory here. The big issue is that they are sat right between Morocco and the Iroquois. So in any conflict going on in the south, the Danes are gonna be involved. Like, they will be a factor somehow. They are just getting down settlers. We have a Moroccan settler up here to the north side, and they just popped up a Iroquois settler. So northern Cromwell looks like it's gonna go straight up to the Siamese, which will be real nice for them. They could set up enough of a power base to block out the rest, but depending on where Morocco puts down that city, that may not happen. If Morocco puts it down up here, they're going to kind of restrict Siam's expansion options there. Rome is getting nice and big, up to the 3 cities there. We got the Greeks settling up in Sparta. Ooh, this Roman warrior is not going to come home anytime soon. And neither is this Egyptian scout or Egyptian warrior. They are blocked off now by Songhai in Greece. It's not good for them. Assyria getting up another city. Assyria is an interesting country because they have very good early game. They have a special unit of the siege towers that are just very strong. The issue is they have a lot of hills to go through to get anywhere. And Gao is kind of well defended. It's got a river next to it and only one other province to attack it from. You can't really surround Gao. You have to kind of assault it directly. So they're good at expansion and don't have a lot of expansion options. So they're not going to get a lot of bang for their buck in terms of what they're good at. So hopefully, you know, Assyria gets some boats and gets a move on earlier than it might otherwise do in a normal game. I'm liking this Roman expansion, and they've got another settler up already. So we could see a strong game out of Rome. I'm gonna adjust that statement. We're gonna see a strong game out of Rome, especially if they follow suit here, producing more military units. Egypt likes to play tall, and that's not going to work out well for them in this scenario because they're very restricted. It would have done them a lot of good to try and seize some territory early on. Without that territory, they are going to be constrained. But we are at around the 20-minute mark here, guys, so I'm going to cut this video here, and I'll see you next time.